Hello Sagittarius, this is your June 2025 tarot reading. Okay, so let's see what's coming through for you this month ahead. I'll start by pulling 3 cards and continue to pull as we move through the reading to go deeper on the messages. But let's start with a kind of what you're entering the month with, the present energy around you, and then we'll look at upcoming and near future energies. There's a little background noise here. I apologize, there is some work going on outside my apartment. I have the Page of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands, which of course is you, coming in hot. This is mutable fire, Sagittarius. And I also have the Tower. Okay, so this is a more combustible energy around you. There is a medicine here for you, which is a stripping away of anything that's false or pretend or superficial in your world at this time. You're embodying a student of life right now. Sagittarius, the Page of Pentacles is all about learning and starting out and gathering information and studying, researching, and just kind of putting together a kind of course for yourself. And it might not be you taking a class or a webinar, some sort of a course or anything like that. It might just be having a very varied sort of varied life experiences right now, which make you the perfect student. Eventually, maybe to become a teacher who shares the wisdom that you're currently learning and gaining with others. But for now, you're happy to just kind of like take it all in and refine and perfect and learn as you go and challenge yourself really to pushing yourself way out of your comfort zone by the looks of things. Yeah, the Knight of the Knight of Wands is you, and you know what? This is kind of showing composure when all around you, Tower card energy is a lot to do with chaos or disruption. You're maintaining composure here. I couldn't just like gallop around on a horse with a pizza box balanced perfectly in my hand to bring it to somebody's speedy delivery, right? They don't even look like they're breaking a sweat. So on the surface and from an outsider's point of view looking in, you don't even look like you're breaking a sweat. You look like you've got this all under control, all handled. This particular knight has like a very sturdy and strong horse under their butt. And to me, this just tells me that you have a strong foundation. Maybe you've gotten a new car or vehicle, or you've just got something that you feel is very much like a fail-safe and will continue to help you get what you need to get done, if that makes sense. But you're not breaking a sweat as everything around you seems to like be on the verge of crumbling. Now, this doesn't have to be in your life directly. You could notice that people are losing their cool and kind of having moments of unpredictability and chaos. And of course, Sagittarius, that could be something that you're dealing with too. So let's not discount that. Let's not discount that one of the challenges this month for you is maintaining a sense of composure as things around you move around and become something else altogether. You're starting to notice really what is false, what actually would benefit from the Towers, and a kind of force almost, where it has the effect oftentimes of exposing what is no longer really suitable for you or adequate for you or resonant. And you have so many exciting things to focus on for now as well. Like you have things that you're deeply interested in learning more about and upskilling and teaching and like getting to know more. So you've got passions and things that you want to try out and demonstrate and experiment with. And you also have a sense of like who you are and where you're going. And it's interesting that a lot of you this month and as of late are kind of riding through times of destabilization, right? So things are changing for you, but somehow, maybe it's because you're mutable fire, you are comfortable with the pace. Let's not say comfortable, it's not a comfortable energy, but you might be better equipped than other signs to handle this. Let's start going deeper with these messages, okay? Let's clear up the Page of Pentacles. If this reading ends up resonating with you, I'll link an extended version down below. But if this is all you're going to stick around for, now would be a great time to subscribe. Make sure you like and share and comment if that's how you feel about this, that you like this video, that is. I have the Justice card and the Seven of Swords. Vigilante is coming to mind right now, or you being kind of this crusader for what's right, what's just, what's fair, what's right and what's wrong. And it seems like you are kind of no holds bar about where you stand. This is not a time in your life, Sagittarius, where you're sitting on the fence anymore. You are full of conviction. You feel like you are an authority on something here, and who's to say otherwise? The Justice card appearing really suggests that you sit in a position of, lived experience at this point. The Justice card also suggests that what you're taking on is not for the faint-hearted. And I mean, we don't need the Tower to show you that this isn't a faint-hearted energy around you at this time. But the Page of Pentacles, not everybody would be called to this vocation or this specialized area of interest, right? It's niche, or it's certainly captivating you, however, but it might not be the easiest thing to do. It might not be the most plain sailing, but for whatever reason, it has got its hold on you, and you feel very strong about this. The Justice card is full of conviction and a lot of passion, right? We always think of justice and judges as just logic and rationale, but the red robes and the red drapery behind her is showing me more than that. This is showing me that there is passion here as well as conviction and logic, and it's about you doing something that kind of paves the way for others to feel more daring, more brave, more savage at times. It's also paving the way for what's right objectively and what feels like justice. The Seven of Swords, because a Seven of Swords can be when people are afraid, people can be afraid of standing up and making their voice heard. People can be afraid of standing out, and that doesn't seem like that is a particular fear of yours at this time, at least, Sagittarius. So for whatever reason, call it karma, as we often do when we see the scales of justice come through, your time to make a decision, make your voice heard, make your position known, and sort of seek out a solution or a kind of offering that you're still learning. It's like you're not exactly 100% masterful on this at any stage, by any stretch, I should say. You're at a stage of a little bit more of a beginner on this, right? You've got experience and you've got interest and you've got a natural flair perhaps, but still there are crucial steps that you can't skip, and you certainly need to do things by the book here, because you know what, it's important and there's a lot at stake. And that's the Seven of Swords. Sometimes the Seven of Swords represents a plan that is not going to work out, and this poor pup, it's like, you're so obvious right now, the writing is on the wall, we know who ate the meatball, and that is kind of just like about something that hasn't really been thought through. So there's passion that can lead to just like instinctive sort of response. And then there's the balancing of the scales, bringing in the sort of rational approach and let's think this through a little better so that it can be a more workable plan for you moving forward, is basically what I'm seeing there. So let's look at the Knight of Wands. You might be going somewhere this month. The Knight of Wands often talks about travel, and you might just be traversing your mind, or you're, exploring and expanding your consciousness. You might be kind of doing some dream work, or working with or talking to people from other cultures, and you might just be reading a lot of escapist, or bringing you to different places via documentaries and stuff like that. But whatever it is, this Gemini season, Sagittarius, you're being encouraged to broaden your horizons, maybe physically by trips or travel, or even just intellectually, and you're kind of sort of believing differently. The Three of Wands and the King of Wands, this is where the sort of novice is beginning to mature from the Knight of Wands into the King of Wands. So a certain trajectory is set in motion for you from around the 11th of June onwards. On the 11th, we have a full moon in the sign of Sagittarius. In your sign, it's going to oppose Jupiter, planet of expansion, in an out of sign opposition, however, at that point. But it will be there somewhat opposing Jupiter, and it's kind of like a test of your knowledge, a test of what you know, and a kind of having to actually be pretty vocal, or put to the test somehow, and putting your money where your mouth is. Sagittarius, can you get this job done on time? Can you leave your mission with a kind of no notes energy, and people are kind of like, wow, I am so impressed by Sagittarius. I think that that's what you're going to be pulling out of the bag this month. But from the 11th of the month onwards, after the full moon in Sagittarius, there is a trajectory that's set into motion for you. It's one oriented around growth, expansion. It's one oriented around future planning, but a kind of not like wishful thinking anymore. It just feels very seamless for you. There's enough kind of, putting your money where your mouth is and proving your point. There's been enough just signs and feedback, and there's just been enough like obvious kind of clarity here and awareness that this is what you're meant to be doing, or where you're supposed to be going. And yes, maybe some of it is set in the future and not fully tangible quite yet, but I get the impression that you are coming on leaps and bounds this month, because the Knight of Wands evolving to the King of Wands in June really tells me that this is like a kind of rapid fire ascension process, or expansion, or trajectory, timeline shift, whatever it is. You're hopping timelines and it's working really well. The Knight of Wands to the King of Wands. It might be that you impress the right person this month, and that right person might just be yourself. I think we need to look into this Tower, because when the final card of a reading is the Tower, well, we want to try and see what energies are accompanying that. Overall, the Tower is somewhat of an unexpected and unpredictable quality. Remember, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe there is a lot of stagnant energy in your life at this time that has been chopped up and put through the meat grinder, you might say. The Tower is coming through. Again, the Tower might not be an unexpected external circumstance that takes you off guard. That can very often manifest as something internal that goes on, some sort of a shift psychologically even. The Queen of Cups and the Four of Cups. And that kind of looks like a very internal kind of cup energy is is our emotions, and our emotional and psychological foundation is here with both of these cards together. They are talking about the sign of Cancer, and the sun moves into Cancer around the 20th, 21st of June, and it might be then that there is a significant realization that occurs for you on a really private and inner world level that outsiders looking in won't be able to reach. Okay, this is your sort of sacred, somewhat private and untouchable revelation, and it is going to be dramatic. It is going to be punchy in a sense. But if I met you and you were just walking down the street, I'd be like, hi, Sagittarius. And you'd be like, hi, you know, keep moving. I would never in a million years think that your internal monologue or your internal experience is churning, is almost like a seasickness. So hide it if you want, or open up and let people know what you're going through. That's obviously your choice, but it is something that is profound and worth sharing, I think, but it's your choice. But you don't have to be completely alone in this either. You know, you've come to the conclusion in a sense, and a conclusion that you reach by the end of this month is kind of cynical, kind of jaded, even somewhat disappointed or disgusted, and that is not exactly easy. So the Queen of the Queen of Cups here, like it's gonna make you wanna maybe protect your energy, pull back a little bit. Now this Tower seems to be kind of mostly impactful on a private inner world emotional level this month, and we'll definitely get into this in the extended for sure, but the Tower could be representative of changes occurring in your external world that are kind of coming down hard and fast, okay? And it's not what you expected. You couldn't see this coming. That's the Tower. You haven't seen this coming. It has been an ongoing process of unraveling to leave something very pure and very like something that you can really identify with, or some sort of a truth there that is yours and yours alone. Like you really, through lived experience or otherwise, like get this now more than ever. I don't know, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but it's not my reading, but I'm hoping that that makes some sense to you. If not now, maybe by the end of June. Okay, Sag, I'll leave you with that, and I'll see you soon. Bye.